Your battle event has been completed. Free to play, so I have the hidden Lotus skin now available. There's obviously been a lot of interest in this series. Obviously people search on YouTube how to get this skin. Is it still possible for a free to play player? And the answer is yes, it is. But I need to make it very clear, as I'm going to go into a bit more detail in this video of how I get this skin, that this is not an easy task. So let's go through the breakdown. What do I do to get 400,000 commander power in the first week? There's an element of luck to this. I have 28 commanders, but I've done it with a lot less. Let's say for a moment I was only on 27 commanders. Let's say I was missing Bjorn. So I'd be missing 9,300 power. What I'd simply have to do though is instead of getting everyone to 11, I'd have to get them to 12. Obviously, if you are a barb chainer, this is the easiest power you can get. But to get the commanders this high, I have cleared some of my AP. How much have I got left after getting the 1.5 million? Only 3,500. Now, there's not much else to talk about the commanders. It's pretty simple. You're just spreading the power. What you need to do, though, is also react to how much luck you are having with the gold keys. So, troop power. 290,000 power. How did I get there? Well, of course, clearing the AP was a major part of getting there. The other part is it's like having a baby. As I say, this is not for people who do not play a high volume during the day. When I'm getting the 1.5 million, you have to play a lot. So, the key to getting really high power on the infantry, on your troops, is to understand this. The more tier 1 you train, the higher your troop power will be. That's because the more reward you will get. For example, when you get to 10,000 troops, you get a reward. When you get to 20,000 troops, you get a reward. And some of these rewards might only be 4 hours in speed ups, or 4 hours in speed ups is 1,200 in troops. To train 6 tier 1 will give you 6 power and takes 1 minute and 12 seconds. If we go to tier 2, to train 6 tier 2 would take you 2 minutes 24, so exactly twice as much. I often do tier 2 because I want to progress my expedition, but if I was really trying to desperately spread power, I would only do tier 1, but then I have to log in even more. I'd have to log in every hour to make sure that my training troops, my troops are still training. So it doesn't really matter if you do tier 1 or tier 2. But now this is the important one to understand. You don't want to move onto your tier. What are they called? Tier 3s. Because if we see here, so 6 tier 3s give 18 power, where 6 tier 2s give 12 power. So it's twice the time to do your tier 3s than it is to do your tier 2s, but only 50% more power. So you only want to do your tier 3s at night. So when I went to bed last night, I set my tier 3s for a 7-hour queue. So if you're struggling, if you're worried, you do as many tier 1 as you can, but you need to be able to log in to do them. Barbarian chaining will give you tons and tons of, let's just have a look, 1 minute and 5 minute speed ups. There's 3 1 minute speed ups. There's 3 1 minute speed ups. So the more AP you spend, the more troops you will have, the more progress you will have in expedition. Now let's just talk about expedition, which also ties into the commander power. You should not buy Ethelfled from the shop, from here. You want to get her from the 2 bonus stages. But keep in the back of your mind that you also need the castle and at least level 10 on your watchtowers to 3-star the 2 bonus levels. Get Ethelfled for free just by getting 1 star. Obviously, do not spend a speed up that is not a training speed up on troops. So troops are about, for every 1 hour training speed up you have, should be about 300 power, where you get a better return on some other buildings. Okay. The other important thing with troops is, of course, you you need to get your barracks to 16 to get to the City Hall 17, and you must never, ever not have the speed ups to get your barracks, to start your barracks building, and then have to wait for it. You should always have the speed ups before you start a training building. Otherwise, for example, on the level 16 barracks, if I didn't have the speed ups, it would be 24 hours doing no training, which is 3,000, 6,000, I don't know, 7,200 odd thousand power that I would lose by not having the speed ups to progress the barracks immediately. Same goes for the research academy here. Let's have a look at the next power thing we're doing. Hold on. Let's have a look. We're 1507. So, technology is pretty straightforward. The main key thing you need to understand, though, is when you're progressing it, that you progress the combat because you need the level 2s for overnight at the start. So you do the swordsman to progress the main quest line. But the bowman and light cavalry and archery here, and the siege, is an opportunity. It's one of the only early researches that can go overnight. So you want to set it before you go to bed. Later on, it's not a problem. Look, bucklers level 4 to 5, it will do overnight, no problem at all. But when you first start, a lot of the researches are 2, 3 and 4 hours. Now, another important thing to understand is economy is a better return on our power per hour. For example, look, the last one of wheel is 10,000 power for, I think, about 12 hours or something. Just move on to buildings quickly. So, the main thing about buildings is just keeping the queues going. You should always have one of these to hand, which is what's needed next. Now, there's no real secret. People have asked me for a step-by-step, but I just follow this. But let's just look at level 12 for a moment. Let's say I've finished my storehouse and I'm waiting for the wall to finish. Of course, I'll start upgrading my lumber mill. I know this order. I don't actually need this email. It's just to be effective that you'll just follow this until you are level City Hall 16 and opened your barracks. There's nothing more complicated than that to follow. One other thing, though, I would say is I would deviate from that is, do you see you need your Alliance Centre 13? Up until level 14, I would always progress my Alliance Centre immediately after my City Hall was finished. I would also always progress my Academy, at least up to level 16, immediately after my City Hall is finished. That's because there's a real important bonus on the Academy, which some people miss, which is the research bonus here. It's up to 8% now. Also, don't forget early that on your research, this can be a nuisance. You have to push the map because everything on this first page here is possible to get via the scouting, which of course you need that masonry, 15% really important. And don't forget to concentrate on your writing. That's really important. As soon as you have got opened up the level of academy where you're able to do that. The 4 buildings here in the academy must always be done with speed ups. You should never ever run out of speed ups or be in a position where you need to upgrade your academy or one of your barracks, stables, siege workshop or archery range without the speed ups to do it immediately. This is just a major core skill. You've got to need to know what's coming up next. So if you know archery range is next, you know you need to start saving speed ups. Otherwise, I say you might get into the situation where you're waiting for there we are, level 10 stables. You need to know that you've got the speed ups to do them immediately, or you are really being ineffective. The next key thing to understand is the courier station. I've run out of gems, but I did show my last video where I refreshed the courier station one time. So obviously the building that's the best return is the hospitals and the gold mines. The hospitals being the key one there. So I'm 17, 15, 15 and 15, which is a huge amount of power. So that's 20, 40, 60, That's 100,000 power just in hospitals. But remember, you don't start doing that until you've at least progressed to 16. I have in fact progressed to 17 because you have an option. Depending how well you're doing, you have a 7-day speed up which you can use to progress the City Hall 16 to 17 immediately. But spending it is a long-term damage to your account. But I decided to do it because I was getting a bit tight and I wanted to concentrate on Sunset Canyon. Right, I hope this video really helps somebody. I've gone in a bit more detail than I usually do. If you want, I don't know if I can break it down much more, but let's collect this now. And that's all for today. Thanks for joining me in this journey. And thanks for all those that are subscribing, liking and commenting. Have a good day.